Happy Monday morning, everybody. I hope you are loving this group as much as I am. Last week was awesome. I had a lot more energy and just was able to stick to my routine so much better because of this group, this accountability. So I hope that you are enjoying it as much as I am. So today I just want to talk to you guys about a buffering. Um, Sometimes we use buffers, they're habits that we've created, and sometimes we don't even realize that we have created this habit. So, a buffer, you can think of it as like if you're trying to move furniture across the floor, you want to put something in between the furniture and the floor so you don't scratch it. Okay, so it's a cushion for us between ourselves and an emotion. We don't want to feel a negative emotion. And that's totally normal for us to resist feeling a negative emotion. So sometimes a buffer can be a brownie or social media or hitting the snooze button or soda pop. So try to start thinking of oh, what do I use as a buffer? When I started thinking about this, I realized I have a lot of buffers. One of them is food. I did not realize how much of an emotional eater I was. Another thing is I'm obsessed with personal development, and I would use that as a buffer. I love the way I feel when I listen to it, and I would listen to 3 or 4 hours of it a day, avoiding things that I needed to get done. And instead of doing those things, I was like, oh, I need to listen to personal development. And so I would listen to personal development, doing other things, avoiding what I needed to do. And those things never got done. But listening to that personal development made me feel good. So I thought I was doing stuff. And really, I was just in the motion of doing things and not really doing anything at all. But one of the things I picked to get rid of during this group was pop. I didn't drink pop a lot, but I always would want or crave pop, especially when I'm stressed. I would always tell myself oh, I deserve a Mountain Dew. So I decided I'm not going to drink pop for the next 3 weeks. And learning how to shift my mindset of recognizing these buffers has been a game changer because I've tried quit drinking pop in the past, and it's all I could think about was how I was missing out on that delicious Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper or whatever it was. So shifting your mindset is huge and learning how you feel. So one thing that you can ask yourself when you're wanting to do whatever it is that you're realizing you have a buffer is ask yourself, why am I engaging in this behavior? And is this behavior also creating a negative effect on me? So, for example, me wanting to eat food, use the buffer, eat a cookie or a brownie when I'm stressed or bored or whatever it is that progressing me into the goals that I want to reach, or is it creating a negative effect of keeping me stuck and making me feel frustrated? That is one big thing that has made a huge difference with cutting these buffers out is I ask myself, which negative emotion am I willing to feel? Because when I have that urge, I have a negative emotion. I feel uncomfortable. And so I'm looking for something to make that go away, even if it's just for a moment of pleasure. Or am I willing to feel that negative emotion of giving in and eating that brownie or cookie or drinking that pop and then feeling discouraged? So, which negative emotion are you willing to feel? Are you willing to feel the one that you're going to fight through that urge and be on the other side of conquering that urge and not giving in? Or are you wanting to, feel the negative feeling of giving in and being frustrated and feeling stuck? But another thing, buffers aren't always bad. A lot of them can be good. So, for example, if you're feeling stressed and you decide to go for a walk, that is a way to relieve your stress, to open up your mind, to think things through. That's a good buffer. So, if you have buffers that are good, keep them. But if you recognize a buffer that is playing a negative effect on you, then do what you can to get rid of it. Um, one buffer for you might not be a buffer for somebody else. Somebody might not have a problem with emotional eating, or soda might not be a problem for them. Um, but the biggest thing you can do is plan in advance of how you're going to fight off this urge. Be very specific of what you're going to do. Um, when you plan ahead, the front part of your brain kind of like figures out, okay, when I have this urge, this is what I'm going to do. That's the part of the brain that a lot of people don't really work with, but it's a part of the brain that like fights for our future and reaching for our goals. Our lower brain is the one that just kind of wants to stay in the moment and just do things that make us feel better right now. So planning ahead, getting very specific of what you can do, and then sticking to that plan. When you stick to that plan, you're honoring the commitment to yourself, and that's the skill that we're really like wanting to succeed in, right? Um, One thing that you can also do is write your feelings down. When you're having an urge, write it down. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling? How are you feeling? And how do you feel if you like broke through that urge or if you caved and had it? That's okay. It happens. How did you feel? The more you can be aware of your thoughts, the more you can be aware of the way you feel, the more power you give yourself to have the skill of honoring your commitment. Um, there was something I was going to say and I don't know what it was. Oh, another thing. So take for example, pop. So if you drink like 4 pops a day, don't tell yourself like I'm going to quit cold turkey because your brain's going to resist that like big time. So meet yourself where you are right now and just take a little step of progression. So if you were drinking 4 pops a day, maybe suggest to yourself, okay, I'm going to drink 2 pops a day instead, but the ultimate goal is to be down to 0. So just take the little tiny one baby step forward each day and just see how you feel and learn how you can just stop these bufferings. This has been like a huge eye opener to me. So I hope this helps, and write down one thing in the comments that you're wanting to stop buffer. If it's the habit that you were wanting to stop, write that down and tell us how you've been doing for the week. If you have any questions, comment below and we would love to answer them for you. But I hope you have a rockin' week.